What's up everybody, welcome back. So after our idle and walking animations, we're gonna start working on a lower and raise animation. They won't be too hard, so this won't be a really long video probably. So let's see. We are in the animation tab in Blender and we're gonna create a new action. So I'm gonna start off with the pose animation and I'm gonna duplicate it. Let's call this rifle lower. Make sure we select the little shield button. I'm gonna make sure I did that for walking. Yes, I did. Yeah, okay. So select our lower animation. I'm gonna remove the last keyframe. So press A to select everything. Select it over here, delete, and I'm gonna go to the layout, pose mode, and start making a lower animation. So this is pretty simple. You can make it complex obviously, but I'm not gonna do it. So select both of the hands and I'm gonna go to somewhere around frame 25 and I'm simply gonna move the gun down a bit towards me and let's rotate it. Nope. So move it down a bit more and move it to the side a bit maybe. Something like this, why not? So I'm gonna press I to insert a keyframe, location, rotation, and I'm gonna set the frames here to 25. Now this is going to look pretty simple. Just gonna drop the gun out of the screen. Yeah, that should work. It's not too complex, but it doesn't have to be. Like, we can add a keyframe in here maybe and rotate it a little bit. Maybe that adds a little sway to the animation. Ah, that's fine for now. You get the idea. So we have a lower animation in here. Let's go back to the animation tab and let's make a raise animation as well. Now I'm gonna simply duplicate the lower animation and I'm gonna rename this one raise. Go back to my layout and into the pose mode. Now make sure you have everything selected, so press A and I'm simply gonna swap the last and the first keyframe so you can drag them around. And move this one a little bit as well. So now we have the animation in reverse basically. So it's gonna raise the gun. That should do fine. So let's export these to Unreal Engine. Go to the object mode. I've got the raise animation selected in here. File, export Mr Mannequin FBX. Now make sure I put them in the correct folder this time. Press OK. And do the lower one as well. So I forgot to set the shield on the raise animation. You can see it in here. There's no F in front of it, so there's no fake user assigned. So make sure you do it to make sure the animation is saved when you close down Blender. So let's do the lower animation and let's export this one as well. Export Mr Mannequin FBX. Okay. And let's go back into Unreal. Into the animation folder and I'm gonna import the new lower and raise animations. Again, make sure on the default skeleton, so skeleton mannequin arms, and import all. And we want to play this to see how they are looking. So let's go to the blueprint, first person character blueprint into the event graph. And I'm gonna add an event. I think I can do it in here. So if you just type event and then the name of the key you want to use. You can add a keyboard event. You don't need to create an input in your project settings. So this is just for testing, so this will work fine. So let me show you what happens if I simply play an animation. So I'm gonna do play animation on my mesh 2p. This is not the one I want. Let me see, play animation. So this one. So if I press Q, I want to play my lower animation. And let's see what happens in game. So that's working. The animation is playing, but as you can see, it stays in a lowered state. So it doesn't reset the weapon or the character mesh in this case to go back to playing the animation blueprint. So what you want to do is create a montage and play a montage instead. This will also work better later when you add the IK controls for the ADSing. We want to make sure we play all the animations by playing a montage. So let's do that right now. We're going to select the lower animation, right click, create animation montage. Naming, that's fine. Let's open it up. And you want to make sure you set the group over here or the slot, and you want to set it to the arm slot. So now it'll pop back into the idle pose. If you just drag this bar a little bit, it'll start playing, so nothing is broken. Now if you go back to your blueprint in your animation graph, you can see we have a slot arms node here, so that'll make sure that the montage is playing. So that's why we set it to slot arms. So save this and close it, and we want to do the same for the race animation as well. So rifle race, create. Let's create a montage and make sure we set it to the arms slot. Save it. And now in our first person character, we want our mesh to play a montage. So play montage instead of play animation. And first I'm gonna play my lower montage, and when it starts blending out, so when it's nearly done, I want to play my race montage again. So we only have one weapon, so we don't really have anything to switch in between, so that's why I'm gonna just play them back to back. So I want to play it on blend out, and I'm gonna say race. So if we check this out, now you can see it's playing, and when it's done, it's actually going back into the idle animation, so the animation blueprint is still working as well. Now they are a bit slow maybe, so we could choose to speed them up. Now you can actually simply do it in Unreal Engine by opening the animation, and in the asset details you can set the rate scale, or we could go back into Blender and we could simply select all of the controls and drag the keyframes a little bit closer to each other. So just whatever you want. So we have lower race animations, we have idle and walking animations, so it's starting to get somewhere. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll have the next video up shortly. Later.